All right.
All right, welcome to episode number 45 of the Sundowners Golf Club podcast. I am Giovanni. I am one of your hosts. I'm here with Matt Colwell. We finally made it. We are here. It is officially Masters Week. It is the best time of the year. It is like Christmas in the middle of April. Matt, how are you feeling as we find ourselves in the 90th edition of the Masters?
Dude, I told you earlier today that I have been feeling like the Masters is never going to get here. It's never going to get here. What are we doing? It's just week after week. We're watching golf and it's not the Masters. And now that it's here, I'm like, holy crap, it's already here. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's a time continuum, folding space and time situation, but that's how I feel. And I'm very excited. This, like a lot of people, I'm not unique in this. This is my favorite week. This is it. This is the tournament for me that means the most. I enjoy this more than any of the tournaments, and it's not close.
You're right. I mean, April rolled around. 2026 is just flying by. I think it's just part of getting older. I've been traveling a bunch lately. Traveling again next week.
I'm 26. I'm 26. I'm young. I'm a young man.
Yeah, I turned 35 here in about 2 weeks. So, but no, so I'm with you. This is the week I look forward to every year. But then in some ways, I'm almost like, gosh, dang it, I have not consumed enough Masters stuff. Usually, I'm like, I'm not preparing for a podcast since we didn't start one yet this time last year. But I'm usually just soaking it all in, and I just haven't had the time to squeeze them in. So probably the rest of the week, I'll just be watching old Masters clips. Definitely going to rewatch last year's Masters. Probably 2015 when Spieth won. Yeah, it's the best week ever. We talk about it all the time, but in the grander scheme of things, it is also major season. That's usually what the Masters means. And so this is kind of the highlight of golf fans, summer, start of summer, spring is just going to be one after another. By the time this season ends, we're going to know, who our major champions are. Yeah, it's just start of another good season. So we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. As everybody knows, last year Rory won his first green jacket. He was able to take the monkey off of his back on getting the Grand Slam. He finally got it after a 10 or 11-year absence from winning any majors. He's famously kind of crumbled a little bit. Well, I take that back. He famously choked on the 10th hole and then the remaining back 9. That might have been 2010, 2011, long time ago. And ever since then, he kind of underperformed when he showed up to the Masters, famously trying 1,000 different things in preparation. So that was a memorable Masters. So I want to start it off with, how do we feel about Rory coming into the Masters this week? And I want to say it with the context that this guy has clearly felt the pressure over the years at this specific tournament. Whether it's Augusta or just being the Masters or just trying to complete the Grand Slam. So he always had this certain kind of pressure going into this week. Maybe a different kind of pressure, but undoubtedly less pressure this time than in previous iterations. So how do you feel about Rory coming into this one?
Rory's that guy that is, in that upper class of golfers that you're always expecting him to be in contention, right? So on the face, yeah, I expect him to be top 10, right? And he's done that a lot at the Masters. So yeah, I expect him to be up there. I expect us to be talking about him. I think we're going to try to record, we'll put it into the universe. I think we're trying to record a few minutes after every round this week. So I expect his name to be on our tongues out every day, whether it's in contention or top 10. We're going to be talking about him, and that's kind of what I expect. Even as a not, you and I go back and forth about me being not a Rory guy, but me not being a Rory guy doesn't mean I don't recognize that he's one of the best golfers that's ever done it, right? So that's what I expect out of Rory. I expect him to be getting, 4, 5, 6 birdies on Thursday, and there he is. That's what I think.
I mean, gosh, it's got to be nice to be Rory showing up to the Masters this year with, I don't want to say the spotlight not on him because obviously he's the returning champion. But I mean, every year you got to imagine the first 5 years after not winning the Grand Slam, it was kind of this, hey, you're up there as a favorite. What are you going to do to prepare this week? And then as the years continued to go on, it turned into kind of a sad story. Like, hey, what's been going wrong at the Masters? Are you doing anything different since you haven't had success? Like that's got to wear on you, especially for, a decade. And so for him to come in and just kind of celebrate and, remember his win from last year and kind of sneak under the radar in terms of, those guys that you think about that, are they underperforming? Are they overperforming? I think you can just say Rory has performed. He's accomplished his mission. Stamping his name in history. So I really like Rory this week for no reason other than just everything I just said. Just he finally gets to just show up and not really live and die by his results here at the Masters.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take. You look at his history here, and he's only missed the cut. What is this? 3 times, since 2009. One of those is second attempt, in Augusta. And the rest of the time he's essentially spent every finish, not just making the cut, been top 25 and top 10. So just that's what he does. I mean, he's going to be in the mix. I mean, I think him and Shane Lowry, his brother from another mother is going to be another guy we're watching. It's going to be fun, man. I said it a couple weeks ago. I have this feeling in my gut that we are about to be treated to an all-timer Masters. I have this feeling that it's going to be one of those.
I'm with you. And I was just about to bring this up that this kind of feels like, I'm trying to look back on, the last 10 Masters or so, but it does seem like this year, different from other years, we don't really have that clear and obvious favorite, like the horse that's just buzzing through courses, like we've had Scotty for the last 3 years. I'm by no means saying Scotty's not the favorite, but I do think you could talk me into probably a list of 10, 15, 20 guys who have a really, really legitimate chance of winning this Masters. So it's kind of one that I'm excited just to see how round 1 goes, just to see, what names are in the mix. I mean, you could just kind of go down the list of names of guys that you could totally picture winning this thing. The obvious, you got Scotty, Rory, throw Bryson in there. You got Cam Young, who's been buzzing lately. Akshay, everybody says this is a lefty favored course. Akshay Bhatia has won already this year. John Rahm, who I think is doing really well on Live. I always tend to lose track of those guys, but you got to think he's up there in the mix. I mean, Patrick Reed has been buzzing lately on the DP World Tour, and he's all juiced about potentially coming back to the PGA Tour. He's a guy finished solo 3rd last year. So, I mean, you could talk me into a lot of these guys. And I guess before I jump too far into this, we usually recap the PGA tournament that was going on. Valero Texas Open. We're not going to dive into it, but we do have to mention JJ Spahn's name.
Especially for us in particular, we have to.
I mean, we put him on the watch list and he heard us, he answered the bell, but this is a guy who won a major championship no more than 12 months ago. So you can't ask for better form than winning on the week before the Masters. So I'm with you. This could be an all-timer. I'm stinking excited just to see where it goes, see what the cut line looks like on Friday, and then see where it takes us on Sunday.
Dude, so I think the guy that nobody in the golf media world is talking about, and I know he did an interview today, and I haven't been able to watch it yet. I will have it consumed tomorrow. Is Patrick Reed. I know you just mentioned him, but Patrick Reed is going to be in the mix. And I don't know if the established golf world, the anti-live world, wants him to be in the mix, but I don't think there's any way they're going to keep him out. I get a distinct feeling that this dude is going to be a problem this weekend. He's been playing really well. I mean, to go back over his record, Dubai Invitational 26th, Hero Dubai win, Babco Energies Bahrain T2, Qatar Masters a win, T20 night in South Africa, and then a top 10 in Joburg at the Johannesburg Open. He's going to be a problem.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of a funny thing with Patrick Reed. I was watching his interview today, and I was just prepared. I had my tomatoes ready to start chucking them at him. And I think for the first time in my life, I hate to admit it, but he had a great interview.
He's always had good interviews.
Well, no, hear me. Okay, listen. He can ham it up like the rest of them. Okay, I'm not going to say he always interviews well, but he's always got this kind of cake eater-ish grin, and he just kind of sounds so scripted. And he started off that way. Okay, he was like forcing a smile as he's talking the whole time. He just thinks he needs to smile to look happy. But they, number one on
DP World Tour points right now. By the way,
I don't doubt it. I mean, he's a beautiful golfer, but I just thought, he actually had a lot of really insightful things to say about, his hopes to coming back on the PGA Tour. He was pretty open about how the travel that he's been doing while trying to chase around tournaments on the Asia Tour and the DP World Tour to stay relevant in the world golf rankings. He talked about how the travel's kind of wearing him thin. He's talking about how he's really enjoyed spending time with his family. And he says it in a specific way, right? Because everybody that went to LIV said the same thing, right? Yeah, I want to spend more time with my family and play less golf. Turns out that wasn't really the case. But it just seemed a little bit more authentic than I've ever seen out of Patrick Reed. And you talk about a lefty golf course. This is a guy that predominantly hits a power draw. So you got to imagine a lot of these tee shots out here at Augusta, suit his eye. And obviously he's won here before. So you're talking me into it. Like I said at the start, you can talk me into a lot of guys, and he's one of them.
Yeah. To totally a sidebar this, you're talking about, lefty course, this and that. I heard a clip, and I didn't watch the interview, but I heard a clip of Akshay talking about how the tee boxes are shaped. Did you see this, Akshay, this week?
Yeah, some of their tee boxes are not level.
Was that a shocking thing to hear?
I'm gonna sound so stupid here, but I've thought I knew that already, so I wasn't shocked to hear it. But it was like, oh yeah, that's right, they do stuff like that. I don't know if that's just me being a dumb, pretentious jerk, but it wasn't surprising to me. Just pinky in the air, just like you, Matt. It wasn't surprising just because you hear all these wacky stories about Augusta National and the things that they do and the things that they can manipulate. I don't know if we've talked about it here on the podcast, but I think I'm trying to remember. It was a no laying up interview with a pro, and I don't remember who it was, but they had said that on the 13th hole, the par 5 dog leg left, right around Race Creek, they have a tree that is hooked up to like a pulley system. And during the practice rounds, they reel in the pulley and it pulls that tree limb out of the way. So when they're practicing, they can just hit whatever shot they want. And then they show up on Thursday and they reel back the reel and they lay that branch out there to say, hey, by the way, this branch is actually in your way. So if you're hitting out a window 7, yeah, not today. So it's when I hear that they have tee boxes that are slanted. One, we talked about this last week. It's more than likely intentional if it's Augusta National. There's not a blade of grass that's there by accident. So yeah, it's they play God over there, and I just love it. I love it.
So I went through all of the stages of emotion when I heard that. My first thought was, man, them and Sun Willows. I'm just kidding. Not Sun Willows, more Canyon Lakes. That the tee boxes are slanted. But then I, within 10 seconds, realized they're slanting them in a way on each hole, if they're going to do it, to just make it that much more difficult or force you to hit a certain shot.
Yeah.
Or maybe not force a certain shot, but penalize a bad shot that is worse there in this case than maybe another one. You know what I mean?
No, totally. I'm guessing, like, I don't know which holes these are that they're slanting them on, but you can imagine on hole 2, they got a bunker on the right that goes straight through the fairway and it dog legs left. So you can imagine they're probably going to put a slight slope towards the right for all the right-handed golfers to put a little fade slope on there, just to make that draw around the corner just a little bit harder.
Yeah. And it made sense. At first I was horrified to learn this. And then, yeah. And after about 10 seconds, I realized, this is, and if that's on purpose, for sure.
So this is not Masters related, but it's slanted tee box related. OG Matt, him and I were playing Wine Valley. This might have been a couple years ago, maybe last year. I can't remember. But we finished up the 10th hole, which is 11th hole, which is the par 3, and we're getting ready to go up on the 12th. And we're kind of standing there waiting for Matt to tee off. And you know how when I play golf, I tend to hug the tee boxes when I'm teeing off.
Yeah.
It's just a thing I do. He was kind of doing that, but for no real reason. And his feet were like off of the tee box and probably like 6 inches above the ball. And I'm watching, I'm like, no way he's doing this. And finally I just had to say something. I was like, Matt, what are you doing? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're standing in the rough right now. So we had a good laugh about it. He picked it up and moved it. I'm like, no way. This is your one opportunity to like make a perfect lie. The only opportunity you get, I guess, aside from the green, the only chance you get to hit one off the tee or off a perfect lie, and you're going to intentionally stand on a slope. Just psycho behavior. Anyway, I digress.
Does he also hit, his irons off the deck on the tee box too on par 3s?
No, I don't think. Well, maybe he does. I think it's just a game time decision.
Do you judge people when you see that? You see par 3, they just throw the ball into the tee box, no tee?
No, I don't. Maybe I used to, but I have another specific story unrelated to the Masters. But I know I've talked about this PGA Mid-Am I played in down at Sylvie's. We were hanging out in the campground with all these other golfers, and we got to make friends with some guys. And one of the guys we became friends with was, I don't know where he was at in the standings at this time, but he ended up losing in a playoff. So he's a stick of a golfer, a really good golfer. And he has this philosophy that his golf coach when he was younger taught him. He said, if you're playing a par 3 and it's dead into the wind, play it down. But if it's a cool breeze or downwind or just, no wind at all, put it on a tee, the height you like it. But if you're playing into the wind, put it down. And so I do that every time. If I'm hitting a shot into the wind on a par 3, I'm going to put it on the grass and kind of overemphasize that punch shot you're looking for.
Did he just say those words and you just believed him? You didn't ask any follow-ups? You're just like, okay, sounds good. I'm going to do that now.
No, I just kissed him on the lips and said, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, perfect.
Just took the word for it. Now, gosh, I'd love to talk about the Masters, but I totally forgot I wanted to mention this. Obviously, I was rooting for Andrew Putnam at the Valero Texas Open because he's one of my outside of the top 100 guys. He was back one stroke on the 18th hole, and they had like a 22-mile-an-hour wind going into the wind on like a 609-yard par 5. Andrew Putnam hits driver off the deck. It was kind of jarring to watch and see. I know these guys can hit driver off the deck on a long par 5, but it was just kind of crazy to see a PGA Tour professional intentionally hit one off the deck just to keep it out of the wind. Didn't pay out for him. He missed it right. Had to lay up, still had like 140 yards, hit it in a bunker and bogeyed the hole. But it was just crazy. Have you seen that before? I think I'm losing you.
I'm not gonna lie. I just got black screened and didn't hear any of the things you just said.
Just nod your head and agree. It was crazy. So
hey.
We're losing Matt a little
back.
Bit. So I'm gonna you're back. I'm gonna just trudge along here. Okay, so back to the Masters. It's my favorite week of the year, and I just keep bringing up random other stories. So I am sorry for that. Let's go with, before we dive into some other little categories I got, but let's just pick let's see. Let's each of us pick 5 names who we think have a legitimate chance of winning this thing. And I don't mean a hopeful chance. I mean, who are the names of guys that showing up to this thing we think can absolutely win? Take it away.
Are we drafting these guys?
Yeah. Let's go back and forth so that we'll have 10 names by the time we're done with this thing.
Okay, let me pull up because I already put some names down. Hold on, let me pull up my list. And we'll do our draft here.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let me go first because I already kind of stated one of mine. Okay, so I'm gonna take my number one overall, and mine is going to be ranked to the best of my ability by who I think has the best chance to win. I'm going to take defending champion Rory McIlroy. I think that monkey is off his back. He's going to show up like it's his backyard and have a heyday. He's not going to be afraid to take any of the shots. He's not going to feel any sort of sinking pressure like it's tarnishing his legacy because he has a bad Thursday round. He is going to be playing wild and free, and he's going to go back to back.
Well, I'm going to make my second pick nice and easy here. One of the criticisms we gave Scotty for a very short window was that he only shows up in Augusta, Georgia, and then he started ripping off wins. So I'm going to go with the Vegas favorite, the dated golf favorite, Scotty Scheffler.
I'll drink it.
Because if he's available, you take Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, it's it's Scotty Scheffler after all. I think earlier this season, after I don't know if it was midweek or after a tournament, but people were asking him about how he manages his expectations because at least in the journalists' eyes, he wasn't having that great of a season. And Scotty kind of pushed back and said, "Well, I've already won twice. I've had a few top tens, and it just so happened that when I won, it was early in the year." So he goes, "If you think that's a bad season, then I don't know what you're watching." So that's my way of saying that I think, at least in Scotty's eyes, you can completely disregard, the last month of results for Scotty. It's still Scotty. It's still major championship golf. And I think he's definitely in the mix.
Yeah, I would hope you'd think that.
But you got to admit, though, it seems like he's been a little quiet, and maybe that's by design, right? But I'm going to take my next pick. This one's a little bit of a sneaky pick, I feel like, but I just have this feeling. I hope Adam Gutierrez is listening because he asked me for, quote, my professional opinion on who I think is going to win the Masters. And I laughed today. I'm no professional, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say Cam Young. His putting has been unreal pretty much all this season. And that was kind of what his Achilles heel was for the last, 4 or 5 years since he kind of jumped on the scene and almost won the PGA Championship years ago. So I'm taking Cam Young. He won the Players this year. His ball striking is unbelievable. And it seems like, if he can navigate his way around the greens at Augusta, then he's got a pretty dang good chance.
Yeah, I think if you hadn't drafted him, that was going to be my next pick. With that being said, I feel like these are never going to be surprising picks, right? I mean, it's who do we think is going to win the Masters? Man. Because I feel like whoever I don't take with this pick, you're going to take with your next pick. I'm not going to say them out loud, though.
Wow.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Bryson. Okay. I'm going to go with Bryson. So Scotty Bryson is my team so far.
Yeah, Bryson, he just won back-to-back on LIV not too long ago. He was in the final group last year with Rory. I think you could argue he's very easily top 5 golfer in the world right now, regardless of what tour he's playing on. So, and I don't know if this joke has run its course yet, but it's a par 67 for him after all,
It'll never get old.
That's so sad because my daughter was talking about the 6-7 joke and how I guess when kids say 6-7 now, that Gianna will always say, "Dude, it's 2026. All right, move on."
Dude, my 8-year-old, I made a 6-7 joke just this week, and he said, "Dad, that's so old."
Yeah,
that was from 2025. So you got to stop.
I heard the best way to battle those kid trends is to adopt them as your own as an adult. because then you're just going to embarrass your kids. So, all right. So it's funny. You're saying this, you're saying Bryson, and you're worried I was going to take the next one. I don't think I'm taking yours with this one. Another one that maybe feels sneaky, but it's probably top 10 on the favorites sheet. But I think the world right now has forgotten that this guy was like the hottest golfer on the planet when he won the Tour Championship last year. I'm taking Tommy Fleetwood. Admittedly, I haven't been scouring his most recent results, but it seems like similar to Rory. I mean, this guy just could not get a win on the PGA Tour for the life of him. He's had some pretty good success in majors. I like Tommy Fleetwood this week. Plus, he's got a brand new hat deal. Blackstone is on his side. Okay, he's got the financial and fiduciary backing that he needs to find some success at Augusta this week.
That's it. Who am I gonna go with? So I have an emotional pick. He's been my dog, but I'm gonna set him aside for a second because you didn't take him.
I know who it is.
I'm not gonna take him right now.
Okay.
I'm picking my team, my all-stars, my Monstars. I'm gonna go another live guy, Jon Rahm.
Okay, maybe I was gonna take your guy.
That's right.
Okay, you're going Jon Rahm.
Yep, Jon Rahm.
I like it. He's won here before. He is one of my favorite golfers, professional golfers, has been for a while. So I just, out of sight, out of mind, I just don't know how these guys are doing. Bryson's a little hard to ignore most of the time, but I just don't keep up to date with the leaderboards that live. All right, so I'm going to take another one that I feel like I'm kind of eating my words on this one a little bit. But I got to take Justin Rose. I mean, twice this guy has had the lowest score through 72 holes and lost in a playoff throughout his career. I think it's his 21st Masters. So this guy's played here a bunch. He's kind of got this career resurgence, it seemed, over the last, 3 or 4 years. So you got to think this guy's feeling pretty comfy coming in this week. I watched his interview today. He's just as cool as a cucumber. He seems pretty much dialed in and ready to go. So I like Justin Rose this week. It'd be kind of fun to see him back in a playoff with Rory.
Okay, you ready? You ready for the name that you know that I'm going to say?
Your dog, Mr. Goddard.
I've been on this guy's train for a while. Statistically speaking, that he can't win this year. He has to perform well this year before he has a chance to win. But I have to take Goddard up. The guy's a dog. He's so fun to watch play golf, man. And maybe this is, I have a little bit of the statistics to back me up on this pick. But this one's an emotional one. I've enjoyed this guy for now, for a year or so, and he's kind of lived up to it. So I'm sticking to him, man. I'm picking him.
Okay, I like the pick. I mean, also he's a first timer.
Yeah,
playing in the Masters.
That's what I'm saying. Is statistically speaking, he doesn't have a chance, right? I mean, first timers just simply don't win in Augusta. But he's a flyer pick, but I'm taking him. I like it.
Well, it's funny. I watched his interview today too, and there was the reporters were having a bit of a heyday with him because they were asking him if he knew the names of all the holes, and he had said maybe he could name 4, but he just doesn't pay that close attention. And just as a fan of this tournament, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. We all just kind of a gawk at the course, gawk at the event. It's like a fantasy to all of us, and so I got to thinking about just how these guys view this tournament and this course. I mean, we had Jared on last week, and he was able to name every single hole pretty close on the yardage. He knew the name. He knew what par it was. So I think as fans, we almost obsess over this course more than the pros do, or at least in a different way. Because I'm thinking, if I got the invite to the 2027 Masters and I'm getting ready to play in the Masters, when I show up for my interview, I'm going to know every single name of all those holes. But these guys just approach it differently, right? They're just as excited, I imagine. and they recognize the allure and the mystique of it. But they're showing up to try to win a tournament. So it was a good interview, and he seems I don't know, he seemed pretty collected for a first timer showing up. I mean, heck, it's Monday of Masters week. You got to think he's just feeling the juice. All right, so I'm going to take my fifth pick. Before I take the fifth pick, I did pull up the betting favorites here just to look at some of the names that we're not picking. So Ludwig is on this list. I'm not taking Ludwig for my fifth pick. And I don't know if it's just what's been going on recently or, what happened to him a couple of weeks ago in Texas when he kind of blew the what was it, a 5 or 6 stroke lead on Sunday. Xander Schauffele, he has been playing a little bit better as of late, but just not the same, major winner that we saw from a couple of years ago. Colin Morikawa, he withdrew, citing a back injury just a couple weeks ago. I don't know how serious that was or if it was just a Masters prep thing. But these are guys that I think usually we're going to be talking about, but I'm not taking them this time. I'm going to go with recent success as of late, and I'm going to take Matt Fitzpatrick for my fifth.
Yeah, I mean, Fitzpatrick fits the mold for all of the, recency bias when you look at last, 12 years. That makes sense. He's going to be in it. I think he's always going to be in it unless something weird happens. I like the pick. My last pick, I'm kind of surprised he's not taken already unless I've somehow missed it. I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa. You did not say Colin Morikawa, right?
Well, I just mentioned as a name I intentionally didn't pick.
So I've been watching this guy. When you look at his when you look at the guys that have won at Augusta, there are certain things that are just true across the board, right? Recent top 10s, they've played at Augusta a few times. They have certain strokes gained, and Morikawa is at the top of those boards. He's coming off of 2023 T10, 24 solo 8, 25 T8. He's tee to green, a 2.2 strokes gained guy. So he's leading the group of the guys that qualify for this little list. And then on top of that, what's funny is I just read Xander Schauffele's score, not Morikawa's.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here.
Your latest golf news here at Sundowners Golf Club podcast.
Matt's an idiot. So anyway, 2022 on solo 5, T10, T3, T14. Okay, so not that much far off. But regardless, right? So Colin Morikawa is one of the best guys with the iron. He's looking better this season than he was last year, I think, at this point. And I think he has a chance. It feels weird though to pick Colin, to be honest, because he just doesn't feel like a guy that would win the Masters. But when you just look at how he plays golf, what he's good at, when you look at that alone, it makes sense that he would win in Augusta. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you exactly why I didn't pick him, and it's a quote from today at Augusta. He says, and I quote, "The honest truth is I'm taking it day by day. It," referring to his back, "it's not exactly where I want it to be. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the body and I can't push it." Everything you said about Colin Morikawa is exactly why he's, I'm looking at it now, 9th or 10th favorite to win. He does seem to have the game that is just exactly what you would want going into Augusta with the way he hits his irons. But he pulled out last week due to a back injury, and we can really only hope that, that was more of a maybe a precaution than a necessity. So I'm with you, though. It's like you can kind of anticipate that he's going to be making the cut and seeing his name sprinkled around on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so I do want to shift really quick. You already mentioned one of the first timers, but I do want to go over a list of the first timers playing in the Masters. We've talked a lot about on this podcast about this tournament more so than pretty much any other. They put a lot of emphasis and weight on experience at Augusta. It's like the one place that It's their first time playing here, so you can kind of rule them out, whether it's fair or unfair, right or wrong. We don't know, but there are a few names on here that I'm interested in. You already mentioned one of them being Chris Goddard, but I'm going to go down the list here really quick. There's 22 names. We got Michael Brennan. Jacob Bridgman, of course. We talked about him last week, who's had an awesome season this year. Ethan Fang. So he won the British Amateur. Famously said he doesn't have a clue how to hit a draw, so he just hits a fade everywhere. So he's an amateur going in. Ryan Gerard, Chris Goddard, Ben Griffin, who is we've talked about him a little bit on whether we're worried about him or not coming in. Harry Hall, Jackson Harrington, amateur. Brandon Holtz, amateur. Mason Howell, amateur. Casey Jarvis, Nayuki Kataoka, John Kiefer, FIFA Lapakdi, amateur. Tom McKibben, Rasmus Neergaard Peterson, Andrew Novak, Marco Penge, Matteo Pulsini, an amateur. Christopher Raytan, Samuel Stevens, and our boy Sammy Valimaki. Are there any names on that list, I guess aside from Goddard, that are jumping out the page at you as guys that we want to watch this week?
For me, I think Mason Howell's my guy that I think is going to be fun to watch. I think it's fun to pay attention to the amateurs on their own. And Mason Howell's kind of a dog. So that's going to be kind of if I'm putting money on best amateur, that's going to be who I pick is Mason Howell.
Okay, I agree. The amateurs is always fun to watch, see how they shake out. Admittedly, I'm not terribly familiar with all these amateurs that are playing this week. I think I just have to be rooting for Ethan Fang just because it was fun watching him come down the stretch and winning a playoff at the British Am. I think the name for me is Ben Griffin, less because it's a first-timer, but more because he's had such an unreal, last, 18 months of professional golf. And he seems to be slowing down a little bit right now. So I'm just maybe more so hoping that he can show up and play well at the Masters and keep coming back. Jacob Bridgman, we talked a little bit about. He's kind of having a career run right now. You and I kind of offline did a little bit of a mini deep dive into it. It turns out he just has an extremely, extremely hot putter right now, which has resulted in some pretty good success. And then the name, my favorite name on this list, the person I am absolutely gunning for to win, I should have had him on my top 5, is Sammy Valimaki. Sammy Valimaki, he's had a little bit of a tough go at the start of the year, but he had a pretty good finish the last couple weeks. So hoping that Sammy can make a good run at his first Masters.
That'd be fun. I'd root for that. You know, the it's not his first time, and I know this is kind of the thing, but when I think of how I'm rooting for Sammy Valimaki, it's similar to my fandom for Sepp Straka. And Sepp was the first guy out on my 5 list, right? I took Colin based on his on papers, right? Being the 5th guy, and left Sepp off, but I kind of feel the same way about Sammy as I do Sepp. I just enjoy watching him play golf.
So you almost put Sepp Straka on your top 5 favorite to win the tournament?
Yes.
Can we flesh that out a little bit? How's he been doing this year?
Sepp Straka is one of the guys that fits the mold of who will win. He qualifies for the record at the Masters, strokes gained, tee to green. He's one of the guys. So that's why he was on the list.
Okay.
I mean, we talked about this list before, right? So the list was Morikawa, Fitz, Siwoo, Rahm, Rory, Scotty, Cam, Ludwig, Minwoo, Goddard, and Straka.
Okay. Now, this one's just catching me by surprise a little bit. No shade at Sepp, but I said I could be talked into a lot of people. He's one I'm not getting talked into right now.
Really?
Yeah.
He has a top 20 there. I think it's T14.
All right.
He's done it, man.
All right. Yep. We'll see. All right. So I guess more stuff in the golf world as it relates to the Masters. Obviously, Tiger Woods is not participating in this year's Masters. We talked about that for a little while last week for for obvious reasons, he won't be playing. And then kind of surprising to the golf world was Phil opting to skip out on the Masters, citing a family, family health issues, which I think anybody reading that kind of assumes that it's not Phil having the health issues, but rather somebody in his family. So, we wish the best for Phil. It's definitely kind of weird, I guess, watching a Masters without Phil. It is the first time since 1994 that neither Tiger nor Phil will be competing in the Masters. So, for right, wrong, or indifferent, it's kind of turning of a new page for major golf. What do you have for thoughts on Phil and Tiger out for the Masters?
Yeah, that was just kind of a shocking thing to see, right? 1994. Like, what were you doing in 1994? To think that neither Tiger or Phil are going to be in it. I hope whatever's going on for Phil can be, resolved for the better, right? I think a lot, I don't know, maybe not a lot, but I just assume that it's somebody close. I don't think I followed up with this. I thought his wife had suffered from a cancer diagnosis in the past, and I wondered if maybe that was it again. I would imagine it's something of that ilk, or seriousness. So I can't imagine what he's going through right now to be just holed up and not be anywhere to be seen, especially somewhere like the Masters, which is, when you're talking about life events and family health things, right? The Masters suddenly becomes a pretty small thing. But I think it is an indicator of how serious, whatever is going on is. And I'm sure when we figure out what it is, it'll all make sense. So
yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It looks like in 2009, Amy Mickelson was diagnosed with cancer. And then I didn't know this, but just 2 months after that, his mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. It sounds like they both went on to beat the cancer, but obviously that's something that could be in the mix. And hopefully we can hope it's nothing too serious and he's just there to spend time with his family. But he will be missed at the Masters. He's always fun to watch at the Masters. He's just one of those names that, regardless of his form and how he's playing, you're always just curious. How's Phil doing? How's Tiger doing? Those are all those famous questions. He's just one of those names.
Yeah.
Let's see. So another sights and sounds from Augusta National. I'm sure you saw Jason Day's bird outfit, his Malbin outfit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this, but Augusta National reportedly rejected one of his outfits that he had was planning on wearing, and it was essentially that bird print on his vest, but all over the top and all over the bottom. So birds everywhere. They rejected it, so that he opted to go with the bird vest with some nice kind of baggy khakis, obviously rocking the Malbin. We haven't really taken this discussion onto the podcast, but there has been some lively discussion about Malbin as a brand in general. Where do you stand on that?
People are going to be surprised by this because, I in debate, in one-on-one, we're jabbing each other. I take a pretty heavy anti-Malbin stance, and that's really only just for the, for the BS, for the jabs in the group chat. Really, it's not for me. Like, I'm probably not going to ever buy anything Malbin. But that's not to say that I can't take appreciation for what they're doing for Jason Day, because what they're doing is just more fun, right? Like, I think we're in a period where there's not really a lot of creativity. The players, they sign these contracts with, these clothing outfitters, and they're told what to wear, and it's just kind of ho-hum, right? It's black slacks, tan slacks, gray slacks, khaki slacks, three button polo, and a belt, move on, right? And it's crazy when Phil Mickelson wears a snakeskin belt, right? It's like, whoa, look at that. It's a snakeskin belt. And so, yeah, I mean, credit to Malbin for kind of pushing, the fashion. And it's fun, right? I think if you had a professional, outfit person, I don't know what they're called, clothing design. What are they called?
I don't know.
Dude, I don't know either. A personal dresser, whatever it's called, man. Putting together these outfits. It can look fun. Would I wear it? No, but Jason Day's a different guy than me. Jason Day could pull it off. And to be honest, that's kind of fun. I like that. The khakis, the birds, right? And I'm sure, just like the Augusta National, there's nothing mistaken or out of place around that course. I guarantee that all of those birds are birds that you see around the course. I'm going to put money on it, or that are native to Augusta, Georgia.
Right? I'm with you wholeheartedly. I've kind of stayed out of the Malbin discussion because I'm put in the camp that I find myself in a lot. Like, I don't care. I'm with you. It's a lot of their clothes is probably something I'd look so dumb in.
Right.
But I like that it exists. I like that they're pushing the boundaries and having a little fun with it. Now this outfit, I love this outfit.
Show the full bird one.
Let's see here.
Because it's got the bird. I think it's rain pants. There you go.
Here it is. Yeah, I love it. I think it's an awesome outfit. You know who would look great in this outfit right here?
Who's that?
OG Matt. This has OG Matt written all over it. Yep, I'm all in on it.
It's fun. Like I said, I take no issue with it. And I don't remember the year, but one of the outfits, I don't know if it was denied or not, but I want to say it's the Wednesday outfit. So we'll see him if he's playing in the par 3 contest, what he's playing in the practice round on Wednesday, is a fishing vest. And when I first saw that, there's a fishing vest, and my mind immediately went, that's not a mistake, right? Like, they're not just picking a fishing vest because it's chic. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason to it. And so I started, going down the Twitter rabbit hole to see if somebody knew, and somebody pointed out, again, I don't know if this is, verified, but it all makes sense, that there used to be an unofficial fishing tournament on the grounds of Augusta National with the players on Wednesdays, that they just fish for bass. It was just a thing. It was an unofficial thing. It was tradition. The players playing, little relaxation, do some fishing. And so that's solid research to pull that out and put it in to what he's wearing, because that's an ode to the tradition. That's what the Masters is all about, right? Is these traditions. And I'm about that, man. I love that. Again, would I wear a fishing vest to go play golf? Nah. But
I'm with you. I like it. I heard the same story. So I don't know if this is going to scroll through each of the outfits here, but so this is Malbin scripting. So we can anticipate, I don't know if it's even big enough, but we can anticipate the fishing vest on Wednesday. He's really leaning into these birds. I love it. And since we're here, let's see what old Freddie Couples is going to be wearing. Looks like he's planning on playing Saturday and Sunday. Sung Jae, a little bit more tame. So they're just using Jason Day as their kind of creative blank canvas, and I love it. I'm all in on it. You probably won't catch me wearing a ton of Malbin stuff, but I like it.
Hey, so okay, I have to ask. Go back to Jason Day's fit. If there was one fit that Giovanni had to put on, which one is it? You have to pick. It's the full lineup. Which day?
I think I could see myself with the Saturday outfit. Okay, I'm a big vest guy. I like vests when I'm golfing. I'm not a huge fan of the Malbin writing on the side of the pants. It just kind of screams rain pants to me, especially because Malbin is they seem to be more of relaxed fit. I'm like a slim fit kind of guy, good or bad. This looks like something I could wear to like an Easter brunch or something. So I could picture wearing that.
Yeah, for me, I think if I don't have to wear the cardigan, I'm going to go Sunday. But I can't pull out visors because I'm balding, So it's tough. But I think I like Sundays best. I could,
Okay.
if out of all of them, I think I could wear Sunday without people thinking I'm a wackadoo.
I could also picture you wearing a cardigan too. So I'm on board with that.
All right, maybe I'll try a cardigan. All right, jeez.
All right. Okay, so you had presented kind of a would you rather to me earlier today.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I didn't really want to flesh it out too much because I want to have the raw discussion here. So why don't you hit me and the listeners with our would you rather situation, and before we dive into it, what I love about this one, at least for me, is usually when you get these things on social media, they ask the would you rathers. It's kind of a clear, this is what I would rather do. Like, you're dumb if you think otherwise. This one got me thinking. Okay, I think I could be sold either way, but let's hit us with it.
Okay, option A is obviously all of this is catered, no cost to you, right? It's basically which experience are you looking for. So option A, you and 3 your closest buddies, whoever you want to bring, you're getting the Monday through Sunday experience Augusta National. Airbnb. Oh, I forgot the getting there purpose. Private, PJ, you and your 3 buddies to Augusta. Airbnb 5 minutes from Augusta National. Food and drink covered. You get all of the practice rounds Thursday through Sunday. You're there all day, all week.
Where are we sitting? Where are our seats? Do we have seats? Do we have?
Well, that's the thing is Augusta, you get to go wherever you want, right? So you have the whole week to just tour the grounds, right?
Just want to clarify, do we have any like exclusive I don't even know what they have at Masters.
In the example I gave you, I don't want to change anything in this example. And the example I gave you was just you have full access to the grounds the whole week. Okay. So starting Monday, you have access to be walking Augusta National. And your 5 minute, your Airbnb, which means it's going to be a nice house, is 5 minutes from, right? I mean, you could walk from your patio to the grounds. It's not an issue.
Okay.
Right? PJ home. Everything's covered, food, drink the whole week. Your option 2 is you and your 3 buddies have to drive yourselves in the same car to a Motel 6, 45 minutes away from Augusta National. And you get to play 18 holes. You get to play the course, 18 holes, and then go home that day. So you're there first thing in the morning. You play 18 holes. Scram.
Okay.
Which one are you picking?
So first and foremost, I mean, this is like we're talking 2 separate once in a lifetime opportunities, really.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it for a while after we talked about it, and I'm convinced that I would take option A. And one, I mean, we're talking about 10 out of 10 experiences. So how do you set them apart? And I'm thinking of it this way. Okay. So let's say I take option B and I go and I play Augusta, and I get to say I got to play Augusta with 3 of my best buddies. I'm going to have that experience forever. It's going to be so fun, once in a lifetime. But I don't have any avenue to get to the Monday through Sunday experience, right? I'm not, unless I'm somehow mucking it up with some of the members and become buddies and they somehow get me dialed in. That ain't happening. Okay. So I just get to go and have my golf experience. But you can almost picture a world where you get on a PJ and you are living 5 minutes away in your nice Airbnb and you're roaming the course Monday through Sunday. I feel like you have a better chance of making that connection to somehow sneak around in at Augusta National. I'm not saying it's a good chance, but I think you have a better chance of accomplishing both options if you take option A first. And that's my reason for taking option A.
So my answer is the same, but for different reasons. And I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast or if it was just a conversation with you. that if for whatever reason I got the opportunity to play Augusta, I feel like I would black out and have no idea what happened. And I do have a plan in place if the opportunity ever arises, right? I'm buying the yardage book, and each page, every hole's page is going to be a diary to what I did on that hole, right? That's going to be how I record what I did that day. And I'll read it every day for the rest of my life. So I have a plan in place. But for schmucks like you and I, the opportunity to just get on the grounds at Augusta National, not just at any time, but specifically during the Masters, is limited. And for me, option A affords me the most time on the grounds to soak in the sights and sounds and the feelings and the smells and all of the things that Augusta National is the best, right? So yeah, sure. It's true. You get to play the course in option B. And like you said, that's an opportunity that not a lot of people have. And it would be something that you'd never forget. But I'll tell you what, either one that you pick without telling somebody you had the option for the other, people are going to be like, that's amazing. You had a PJ down to Augusta and you got to spend everything was comped. You were there for a week. You had to watch the practice rounds, the par 3 tournament. You were there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like you came home, like that's wild. And now, the feeling's going to be the same if you play the course. So in my mind, I'm going to maximize the time on the course. And to be honest, you solidify my answer by your answer saying, hey man, if by chance you meet the right guy and make the right joke and the right association, maybe that guy knows somebody and you have an opportunity to come back. Being there for 5 days is...
Yeah. Now, another thing, and I'm looking at your little subtitle here, week over day. And I think that's another huge one. And if I'm picturing this with 3 of my best buddies, this is going to be like the best week of my life. You can picture, I always say when I'm taking a vacation, especially if I'm flying, it's like the trip starts the second I leave the house. The second I get to the airport, I'm on vacation. So imagine this entire week, you're jumping on a PJ. That experience alone is going to be like worth a lifetime. Okay, you're jumping on the PJ, having some drinks with your friends. You're already talking about, all right, what are we doing Monday? Who are we following? What holes are we going to? Where are we going to go? How much stuff we're going to get at the merch shop? And then when Monday's over, you're going to just wind down and recap and have some drinks, maybe a cigar, and you're going to buckle up and you're going to do it all over again on Tuesday, again on Wednesday. The tournament round rolls in. So like you're truly probably going to get like 18 hours of raw Masters experience for 6 straight days. I don't know that one round at Augusta is going to outweigh that.
Yeah. And what's funny is there's another perspective out there. So I called you, I asked you the question and you're like, I love that. We're going to talk about it on the pod. I called Jared and I asked the question. Jared has a militant opposition to our opinions. Militant. He's like, you picking A, I don't believe you. You're lying to me. He's convinced I'm full of it. He's like, there's no way you actually believe that. Overplaying the course. I was like, I see your point. Like, I'm not saying option B is a bad one. It's a fantastic one. That's why this is a hard conversation. And then I asked my dad, I said, Dad, which one would you do? Right? Because we did a family dinner over there tonight. I said, Dad, which one would you do? And he's like, honestly, if it's me today, I'm picking A. He's like, easy. He's like, I'm just not good at golf anymore. It just wouldn't be any fun. I would hack it up. I'd shoot 150. Like, what am I doing? So it just wouldn't be enjoyable. He's like, but if I was a stick, if I was playing really, really good golf, he's like, I'd probably pick B. Because if you're really good at golf, like the perspective changes a little bit. And that gave me a little bit of insight to our buddy Jared, right? We have to remember Jared's a 0.
He's an actual stick, yes.
Like he's an actual stick. And so the perspective is a little different. It's not like you and I are bad, right? We're also single-digit handicap golfers. But I think the range of skill difference from 6 to 0 is significant.
Yeah.
And I think that might be playing a part, right? You and I don't know what it's like to exist in the world of being a 0 or +2. And maybe that changes, maybe that colors our opinion of that question of like, oh, I'm a +2 handicap, right? You're not consciously thinking that, but it's like, maybe I go there and have the round of my life and I rip a 72 at Augusta National. Like, what a life experience that would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's such, that's why I think it's such a fun question, because I'm convinced if you asked me, I don't know, 7 years ago, and this is probably regardless of my golf skill, but 7 or 8 years ago, I probably would have just said, no brainer, I'm taking the golf. And maybe it's just, you know, I golf is still one of my favorite things to do on planet Earth. I love golf so much, but I at this point in my life, I think I'm actually more of a pro golf fan than I am like a golf player. And so to me, it's just hard to beat even having an opportunity to go watch the Masters in person is, you know, I've been trying to get the lottery tickets for like 7 years straight. So having that opportunity to me seems just unreal. And then add in all the amenities to it. Yeah, that's a fun question. I hope we're presented with that challenge at some point in real life. Now, Matt, I'm gonna have to run here in a minute, but we did have a listener call in with a question that I was intrigued by, and I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. We have a kind of a this or that question coming up here. Okay, so I don't know if it's on this podcast, but I know that you and I have talked about what counts as a hole-in-one and what doesn't. Okay, and I thought I've heard them all, and I thought I've fleshed them all out. I feel pretty good about what counts as a yes hole-in-one or an asterisk hole-in-one. Like a no, but one time I did X. So this one's interesting. Let's say you are playing by yourself and you decide you're going to play 2 balls, but you're playing both balls down. You're playing both balls, legit. And you're essentially playing a player A and a player B. Let's just call it white ball and yellow ball. You get to a par 3 and white ball goes first and you hit a shot into the par 3, but then player B shows up with yellow ball, and then you hit it in the hole. This is a full 18-hole course. You're planning on posting both rounds. I don't even know if that's legal, but does that count as a hole-in-one?
I'm thinking no, man. Because here's why it's no. Actually, I'm solid on this answer. Here's why it's no. If you are out there playing a practice round and you hit a shot you don't like and you just drop a second ball and hit it into the cup, are you telling people you got a hole-in-one?
That would be my no, but hole-in-one.
But where does that rank in the simulator 1,000 shots? I mean, it's towards the bottom, right?
Yeah, I mean well, I don't know. I think it's a half measure above a simulator. Well, it's way above a simulator hole-in-one, I think. It's tough. We've talked about this before. There is the yes, I've had a hole-in-one, and you describe the exact hole and you describe the yardage, and it was around your friends and it was during a normal round of golf. Those are the yeses. The yes, but hole-in-ones are the par 3 course hole-in-one. It's the yeah, but there was 7 holes cut on the green because it was a silly scramble hole. It went in the hole in one shot. I think where I net out on this one is it is a yes, but hole-in-one. It's not the firm yes. If I'm tallying hole-in-ones, it doesn't get a tally there. But when I tell the stories about my hole-in-ones, it's coming up. Because I'm with you. Like if you're playing player A, player B, and you hit a 7-iron into a par 3 and you realize it was the wrong club, player B shows up and you hit an 8-iron because you know it's the right club now and you hit it in the hole.
Right.
I think ultimately it's just a nightmare situation. First off, getting a hole-in-one playing by yourself is in my actual nightmares, because then you're just got to live that one down, and none of your friends are going to believe you. Even if they do, they're going to give you a hard time for it. But then anytime, I think it's like the it's not a full on nightmare, but you wake up in a sweat is when you do get one of those asterisk hole-in-ones. It's just another part of the story you got to add. When people ask you, did you get a hole-in-one? And you're like, all right, well, here we go. I got to explain it. Because if you say yes, they're going to say, well, did you post a score? You have a scorecard? It's like, well, no, I was playing 2 balls that day. And they're going to look at you like you're some jerk.
Who asked this question?
This was Garrett Stevenson. Thank you, Garrett. Long time listener, first time caller, he said. So I appreciate the listener input. It sounds like unanimously here, we're going to call it, it does not fit in the category of a yes hole-in-one. It fits in the category of an asterisk or I need to explain further hole-in-ones.
Yeah. And the bar for that one is low, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially any ball that goes in the hole as a hole-in-one that's not like a real legitimate round.
Right.
Like, are you getting help in any way? Help being par 3 course, help being a second shot, help being it's a simulator. I don't know, the simulator one, I don't think I would include the simulator one. Maybe at the bottom of the list as like a laughable kind of, oh yeah, I almost forgot, but I got one in a simulator once.
I don't even have one of those, so I'm not even, I talk crap about it, but I don't even have one of those.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't play a lot of simulator golf.
Hey, you and I usually talk about when we're playing golf. As of 5 minutes ago, I have a tee time for Wine Valley for Friday. So
nice. I got an invite to play Friday and Saturday. I said no to both because maybe this is a tip as to why I'm taking option A in your earlier question, because it's Masters week. I am not touching a club. I'm not leaving the house. I'm going to be glued to the TV all Thursday through Sunday. Now it is time for me to log off. We'll wrap it up here. Just some things coming this week. We have the Masters Par 3. They do it every year on a Wednesday. That one's always enjoyable to watch. You know, you get the friends and family, you get the wives and spouses out as the caddies. That one's fun to watch. We'll probably see a handful of hole-in-ones there. We've got tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon, I believe, they're going to be announcing the tee times. So if you and I get a wild hair, I wouldn't mind doing a quick little 10, 15, 20-minute pod on just what our favorite pairings are, which ones are an electric factory, which ones might be a dud, or what ones might be just kind of silly. So we'll keep an eye on those. And then I'm hoping to have a pod come out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to get our first responses after each round. So you'll expect to hear a lot more from us. I might have to upgrade my Buzzsprout account for this week.
J-Rod is going to join us Friday or Saturday, likely Saturday if we can do it early enough.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to our official Masters preview, and happy Masters week, everyone.
Let's do it, baby.